This episode of commandN, the mobile wallet, SceneTap in San Fran, and musical tweets.
You're listening to EPN, the E-Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 256 of commandN. I'm Amber. We have a great show for you today, including privacy, Facebook, and even a little bit about knitting. So let's get started.
Hover removes all the confusion. We give you a clean, simple search with the best results so you can find the perfect domain name. We don't employ tricks or confusing tactics. We'll only ever tell you about add-on products or helpful services if you ask us to. If you ever need help, our friendly customer advisors are a phone call or an email away. And your call will be answered quickly by a real person.
One of the things that frustrates me the most when I'm trying to buy something online is when the company has poor customer service. Hover aims to change all of that. The site is easy to use, and even better, you're always able to access someone at Hover if you have any questions or any problems. To get an added discount on the Hover experience, all you have to do is go to commandN.hover.com and use our promo code. Facebook recently had its IPO to much fanfare online and offline. If you're looking for a creative take about the latest news from the web world, there is no better place to look than Next Media Animation. This organization from Taiwan likes to use animation to poke fun at the news.
被内部人海睡的投资者不计其数，本次上市，高盛双倍卖出原有的持份。不禁让我们想问，如果脸书真的这么有行情，为什么内部人还要脱手92亿美元的股份？或许他们知道脸书的商业模式尚未成熟，通用汽车已将1000万美元的广告抽单，就因脸书广告的效益不如预期。
Twitter just announced that it will now honor do not track requests so that you can opt out of follower recommendations based on the sites that you surf and the Twitter accounts that you browse. This is definitely a giant step forward in the social media quest for privacy. Speaking of privacy, facial recognition is coming to the San Francisco club scene. A service called SceneTap, which is based in Chicago, is now going to be available in 20 bars in the Bay Area. It allows bar owners to put a camera at the door so it can analyze the faces of patrons and determine their gender as well as their age. This information is then available to other patrons in real time to determine if they want to hang out in the bar. Now let's check in with Jeff and Laura with their big picture of the week.
Well, it looks like Canada is set to join Japan, Britain, South Korea, and other countries around the world in adopting payments using mobile phones by leveraging near-field communications.
Near-field communication is a set of standards that allow devices to establish radio communication by bringing them into close proximity with one another, usually no more than a few centimeters. If this sounds a little familiar, it's because NFC-based transactions are already being used with some credit and debit cards.
And unlike Bluetooth, the other common short-range communication technology typically integrated into mobile phones, NFC is slower but consumes far less power and doesn't require pairing like Bluetooth does, which is a notorious problem point for Bluetooth devices, and is far more secure than the easily hacked magnetic strips on traditional payment cards.
And near-field communication transactions aren't restricted to simply purchases. Other possibilities include library cards, transit passes, as well as integration of loyalty programs from retailers or electronic identity documents for government services and other types of things.
Current NFC-enabled mobile phones include a variety of Android handsets, such as the HTC One, Nexus, Samsung Galaxy, Sony Xperia, and others, the BlackBerry Bold, Torch, and Curve, as well as various Nokia models. Notably absent is Apple's iPhone, which has been heavily rumored to be adding NFC in the near future.
Canada currently has more mobile-ready, contactless card readers per capita than anywhere in the world at 12 to 15% of all retail outlets. So obviously adoption will require both consumers and retailers to ensure they have the right tools to do the job. And this doesn't even touch on the fact that mobile NFC payments also require extensive negotiations between banks, credit card companies, and telcos.
Now, all that said, Rogers Communications in Canada has noted that they expect to launch an NFC mobile wallet for Canadians by fall of 2012. So here's hoping that an NFC-equipped iPhone is in the future for me before then.
We talk a lot about Facebook and Twitter on this show, but there are plenty of other social networks for people who have all types of hobbies, including, as Laura tells us, knitting.
We talk a lot on commandN about major social networks, but today I'd like to highlight a niche network that is one of the best examples I've seen of tailoring the social experience to a very specific audience. Ravelry.com is a social network for crafty folks, including knitters, crocheters, spinners, weavers, dyers, and designers to keep track of their yarn, tools, project and pattern information, and to gain inspiration from others. Think Facebook meets Etsy for knitters. Ravelry enables crafty research and the ability to communicate with the community about successes and failures. If I see a beautifully worked sweater, I can check the pattern on Ravelry, take a look at how many people have used the pattern and have had problems with it, what yarns they've chosen to use in the past, and see tons of images and click through to read more in-depth blog posts so I can get lots of information about whether I want to spend my time on this pattern. Designers can sell patterns straight through the website with PayPal integration. For example, I can track how many times my original patterns have been downloaded and see examples of what other people have done with my work and how they've interpreted my designs. The site is completely free and is now supported by advertisements that are very specifically targeted to the community. It's very tasteful. Ravelry.com is a fantastic example of a successful niche network. If you're trying to figure out how to engage a specific community on a social platform like this, even if you've never thought about how knitters would design their perfect network, take a look. If you participate in another niche network you love, let us know in the blog comments.
My web pick this week is called The Listening Machine, which is an automated system that is based on 500 people on Twitter in the United Kingdom. The system is based around the sentiments, feelings, and thoughts of their Twitter messages, and these messages are translated into a musical pattern that then makes up this really interesting sound and continuous stream on the listening machine. That's it for this episode of commandN. As always, you can find us online at commandN.tv, where you can leave us a comment. You can also email us at info@commandN.tv and send us any links that you want to feature on the show. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
This is the ePodcast Network.